How's everyone doing today?
It's like, I want the music back.
Well, I guess we're good to start.
Doing good, Chris.
Is Cal here? Let's see.
Cal is not here. Hopefully he remembers he's our example today.
I don't even know if I have a Google business page.
Well, that's great.
do
We'll
I-
talk about how you can see if you have one.
Okay.
We'll find out.
There are a couple of ways to test that.
Okay.
It gets increasingly more difficult though, the more Google accounts you own, right? So I was talking with an agent one who had like 5, and we kept checking all of their accounts, and it was on the very last one. So for those of you with multiple accounts, good luck.
No, it
So
would definitely be only one.
I don't see Cal. Does anyone want to volunteer to have their Google business account set up?
I'll volunteer if I don't have one already.
Cool. So this is the quickest way to do this for anybody who's on the call is if you just go to business.google.com, and we'll start there. It'll actually allow you to, it'll say sign in or set up or something like that. Hold on, I got to get the page in front of me. And then if you go to log in and it says you don't have one yet, then you don't have one. If you do, then
no, I have one.
it
says business profile manager.
Yep. So then if you get the business profile manager, you already have one set up.
Okay.
Doesn't mean it's the way you want it, but it is turned on for you.
Okay, so I'll just listen.
Amy, did you raise your hand too? I thought I saw you raise your
I
hand.
did, but I apparently have one as well.
So we're all further along. Then this is great. This is great news. We're all further along.
I tried to do this and was unsuccessful. So there's one there, but there's nothing on it.
I just set up my second monitor to see if I could. I don't know how good this will be. I mean, that just need to be walked through.
Joe, can you share your screen? Do you?
Yeah, I'm pulling. I have. Give me 1 second. I'm going to pull it up. So I had preloaded it and then I minimized that screen. So I got to find it again.
What happened?
All right. Give me 1 second. We're getting started here, everybody. I'm going to share my screen. Cool. So let me take a look and make sure. All right. So when you go to business.google.com, this is where your page ultimately shows up. What you can then do is click on Manage Now. If you have a page set up, when you click Manage Now, it will actually bring you into your back end to be able to work on that and manage it. If you do not have a profile set up, right? If you do not have a business set up, this will come up and it wants you to connect it. Now, I'm going to do here. I don't say this. So I'm going to say add my.
Where
business.
is the manage now part?
You're not going to see that if you already have yours set up, right? If you got into the business manager, you're not going to have this. I'm talking about people who don't yet have it set up.
Okay.
So
Sorry.
Nope, that's all right. So if we.
You got muted.
Thank you. If you then click on add my business, when you go there, it will bring this up where you can then do this. I can either type my business name to search for it. I'm just going to add a business to Google because this is, we'll just do it this way. And I'm going to call this fake real estate team, right? Now, obviously, when we're setting these up, we want to be compliant with the new state laws. As far as what we can name these, I know our market center has done extensive classes on that. So if you have not been to one of those, definitely go and check one of those recordings as to what you can and can't do. So I'm going to put fake real estate team here. If you are an individual agent, obviously it would be something like Joe McHugh Realtor, right? We have to be in compliant with the state. And then business category, I'm going to call it real estate agent as the primary, and we can change it and add more later. So we can say real estate agency, real estate consultant. We will have the ability to add these later on. All right. So I'm going to click next. And do you want to add a location? Okay. So if you want your thing to show up on Google Maps, you will have to add a location. My recommendation, pick one of the offices. Do not have people show up at your home address. That would be really weird. I know real estate is personal and yet not that personal, right? So I'm going to click yes, and I'm going to click next, and it's going to say, what's the address? So I'm going to go 404 Main Street and Ridgefield, Connecticut, and it will fill that in. Okay. So again, we have several offices. So make sure it's the one that makes the most sense for you and your business. So we have Ridgefield, Stamford, Westport, and what's the other, Newtown. Make sure you pick the location that is most appropriate for you and the business that you are running. I'm going to click next. And now it's going to, it wants to say, are any of these yours? Okay. So as you can see here, Chris actually has one set up at the Ridgefield office because it wants to confirm that it's basically telling you a business already exists at these locations. I am none of these business, so I'm going to click next. And it's going to then do this. All right. We have to go through all of this. There's no way to get past this. Do you visit, because you can let them know where you're willing to go. I'm going to say no as far as this goes, and then add your basic contact information. So 203-529-4207 and mchugh.kw.com, or click I don't have a website if you don't want to put it in there. Actually, I don't want to associate that there just yet. And I'm just going to click skip, but you put in your basic information. And then do you want updates and recommendations for your business? This will basically alert you if you think any changes should be made. Chris, do you use this feature?
I believe so, yeah, because I do get updates from Google talking about new categories that they think might be relevant, stuff like that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna click no, but actually I'll click yes. What's the harm? And now we're gonna go here and create the profile. Okay, so here are the ways to verify that this is actually a business. You can do a post. In this case, it's asking me to do postcard by mail. There are other options, which is right now, I guess it's verify later. Now you might say, well, why does this digital company want me to send a postcard via mail? It does not want you to have a location that is not really your location. Okay. So if I want to say I do business in New Haven, but I don't have a physical location in New Haven, I'm cheating Google, right? And a lot of people were cheating Google for a while. So if there's an office where you can send the postcard to, where they're willing to allow you to verify at that location, then by all means go ahead and have a postcard sent there so you could have the physical address. However, if you do not, it's not going to allow you. It's not going to allow you to do this. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to verify it by mail, and this will allow the physical address to be on that thing and allow it to be searchable. If you do not have that physical address, if you do not verify that, it's not going to show up on that location when you go to do it. Yes, Chris, what's up? Ferguson.
So we would use our office address, so the card would have to be sent there. Is that correct?
Yes.
Like I wouldn't want to use my resident.
No, because then that's what shows up. Again, it's verifying that. So I would give whoever's at the front desk a heads up about it and just say, hey, can you let me know when this comes in? Mainly because these are time sensitive as well. After a while, they expire. So if you're going to set this up, either ask for to be on alert or just be prepared to show up like in a week and grab it That way you can go in, they give you a little code that you're going to have to type in on your profile, and that code will verify that you are all set up.
It can't be a PO box either.
Right. Good point. Yeah, so they don't want you to be able to cheat it. They don't want you to find a location that's not a real location somewhere else. They want this to all be as above board as possible.
Yeah, they want to give good information to the consumer, so they're definitely verifying that.
All right, so now I am at our services. So what do? Anything that you do, you can add as far as this concerned, right? If you're a farm and ranch person, building lots, first-time homebuyer services, we can foreclose property. You can go and put whatever you are. You can be as generic or as specific as possible. Obviously, if you don't do warehouse property sales, like don't put that. I mean, people are looking for experts on that in those information. Find your niche, go with that. And really highlight what your business is. I don't know, Chris, what did you pick as far as these are concerned?
I'd have to go back and look. I'm pretty sure it's first-time home buyers, listing-based stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to work rentals, don't put rentals, right? I mean, and then you can create your own if there's not something there. So let's do relocation. And now I'm going to hit next. I don't know if that actually added it or not. Adding business hours, you can do this or not if you want an idea. If you're going to go here and say 24/7, expect phone calls at all hours of the day. I'm going to click skip on the business hours part. And then you can also accept messages within here. Do you have this part set up, Chris?
Yes. Yeah, both of those. I have hours posted and messaging is allowed.
What happens, just so for clarity, what happens when they message you through here? Because I know someone's going to ask.
You get a push notification just like any other app on your phone. It'll show
Okay.
up.
So you have the Google Business app on your phone. Is that how it sends it?
Yeah, so I have the Google My Business app downloaded on my phone. I believe now, I just got an email yesterday, that's going away.
Okay.
Because it's no longer called Google My Business. It's now Google Business Profile. And you could log in and edit your business profile directly from, I think Gmail or somewhere we'll show you in the next step.
Okay.
So I'm not sure how that's going to work in the future, but that's how it works now.
Okay. And then add a business description is however you want to do. I'll say helping fake buyers and sellers since 2022. Whatever it is that you want to put in there to highlight who you are, and do that. And then we can add some photos of your businesses. So what kind of photos do you do? I always say we have really great cameras on our phone. Go around and take some photos of the area that you work. Take a nice photo of the office that you're at, whether it's the Stamford office, the Ridgefield office, Newtown, or Westport. Every town has iconic photos of those things that everybody knows in those towns. Take photos of that and put it on there. What do you have in there, Chris?
I have a couple of photos, a headshot, pictures of the office location. I'm about to start adding more. I see stats that get sent to me from Google that businesses that have photos perform and outrank better than other ones.
Yeah.
So it's about to be a focus of mine in the next month or so, just continually adding more photos to that section. I currently do posts, but that's different than photos specifically.
Yeah. I wonder.
On mine, it has, Joe, on mine, it has a lot of the houses that I've sold. It
Okay.
has like, I don't know,
yeah.
25 or 30 houses.
Yeah, I'm
that
not
I've
sure how
sold.
that got on there if you didn't add them, but that's great. I love that. So one
I
of the
don't
things
know
I was going to
anything.
suggest is you could create like a just sold list album and keep track of that so that when people, the
Great
whole
idea.
idea of what we're doing here, and we probably put a preface with this is we're looking to validate you, right? So when people Google you, which inevitably they do, right? They search for you, you call them, you meet them at an open house. Where are the places they can find you? And Chris and I were actually brainstorming this list. And I think we came up with, they find you on Facebook, they find you on Zillow, Realtor.com, They might find you on Yelp. They find you on Google, right? These are the places they search. So when you have a profile in these places, you are now being validated, and you want to validate yourself at a high level. So putting all of those solds in there, then instead of them having to ask you, well, how many homes did you sold? Well, if they have to page through 40 or 50 houses, 100, whatever your number might be, you're creating instant validation, right? And so that's a really great option that you can go in and make sure that you are shown as an authority. And that's what we're trying to do here. Anything you want to add to that?
No, I think that's a great idea, putting that sold album there. So that's some good film.
Are you writing down ideas? Is this now you're like, I have to go back?
I actually just looked up my Zillow and it has
Taking
my
notes.
former, it has my former firm. So I
Yeah,
guess
you
I
have to
work on
go
that.
in there and change that.
Joe, so
Um,
I have a question. So, you're saying the photos we can add, I mean, they can be of homes that we sold or buyers? I mean, or is there a problem with putting photos of a home on your Google page?
So if you own the rights to the photos, which you most likely do,
Yeah, I'm
again,
sure
that gets
I
a
had the
little
buyer.
tricky.
So I don't know, I wouldn't own the rights if I had the buyer, correct?
That is,
You don't own the rights if you had the buyer.
yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying, would that still be allowed if you put a picture of the house or no?
that's a great question. I'm probably above my pay grade.
Okay.
Joe,
I
Joe,
tend
I
to
just
ask
went and
those.
took a picture of the house I just sold. I mean, if you go and take a picture of the house, that's fine. You just can't use the listing agent's photo.
That's a
No, but
great
that,
idea.
is
too.
it
Yeah,
okay?
that's
Just
right.
taking a picture of somebody's house and putting it on there? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, if you sold the house, if you were
could do
on the
that.
buy side, yes, just go
Yes.
take a picture. It's just you can't use their pictures off the MLS. You're not allowed to do that.
Okay,
If
but
you
even
are-
if you, I mean, if you're on the buy side, to me, you can take a picture of anybody's house then and put it, right? I mean,
Well,
No,
so
just the
After
ones you
closing.
sold. You
All right,
have to
so
be
After
on
the
let's-
closing, we can do it. After
let's
Well,
time
that's
out,
what like
let-
Google Earth does, right? That's what Zillow does. They have
Let's
people
do-
come take pictures of your house.
You would only be legitimately taking pictures of the houses that you legitimately had
no, I
buyers.
know, I'm just, okay, I'm saying that to
All right,
be the
guys,
same.
guys,
Okay.
we're off on a little bit of a tangent. I'm gonna mute everybody real quick. Let's go take one step back. If you feel it's necessary, and I understand where you're coming from on this, Ronnie, and I think I personally would agree, have a conversation with your clients. If you sold the house 10 years ago and you show up to take a picture and you never talked to them since then, like that's a different thing than the person who you are closing on today and you say, oh, can I just get a quick shot of this house so I can tell people that I sold, right? Those are two very different conversations. And I can't tell you how to have those conversations.
You know, I wasn't so much from a standpoint of, you know,
That's-
that.
I mean,
just
that's
wanted to
fine.
Make sure it was okay as far
Yep.
as a,
Yep,
yeah.
as
okay.
long as, yep,
Joe,
go ahead.
Joe,
Dave.
it's me. I'm gonna jump in here and something you haven't gotten to yet.
Sure.
What's more important than any of these pictures is get a review.
Well, yep, we'll get to there in,
I
we're
know-
gonna
I
show
just
you where to
said
do
you will
that.
get there, but
Yep.
more important than any picture of a house will be ask them to post a review, and Joe will get there.
Cool. All right, so once you add your photos, whatever it is, I'm gonna hit skip for right now. Now here's the thing. You can use Google AdWords if you want. I love, they're most likely give you credits up front. Note that you cannot run a Google AdWords account out of your Keller Williams account. It just doesn't allow it. So if you're using a personal Google account, then you can take advantage of this. And it's up to you if you want to use something like this. Just note, they're trying to get you to spend more money beyond the $500. So if you're going to use something like this, just be mindful of that. But free money's free money, so feel free to take advantage of it. You know, especially if there's no obligation to do anything moving forward. Hit skip.
So can you explain that a little more? Because I just saw that for the first time. So what is?
If this is a promotion that they're doing for new things, although I did also see it pop up on my established thing where they're just giving $500 AdWord credit. I don't know the details of this because I haven't taken advantage of it. I have done Google AdWords in the past. So personally, to put them to your business profile, I don't know, Chris, if you've ever done that. I generally send them to something like my website where there are search results, right? As an opposed, that could be a whole different conversation beyond the Google profile, where you're really like, let's say they're looking for homes in Ridgefield, Connecticut with pools. Somebody Googles that, you serve up what they're looking for. The trick to using Google, and this is a whole different topic, so we're not going to dive into this, is what they're searching for is what you give them the results for. So if they're looking for homes with pools, don't put them on your generic Facebook page, right? Don't put them somewhere where they don't get the information they want. You won't convert, you're wasting money. If somebody is searching for something very specific, you give them that specific thing, right? You can do that yourself, or there are third parties that can manage those sort of things for you. And the average agent is most likely going to be using one of those third parties. Again, we're not diving into that here today. So business profile is almost ready. I'm going to click continue. And it says it's not visible to my customers. And the reason being is we have not verified it yet. So until you verify it, people will not be able to find it. However, once it is verified, it will show up in these search results. So if I search for Joe McHugh Realtor and I hit enter, my actual page is going to show up over here because it has now been verified at that address, and it does exist. So with that in mind, we'll now show you the back end. Chris, do you want to share your screen for the back end? I think you have more done there.
Yeah, do I have the ability to right now, or?
Give me 1 second. Yes, you can share. I'm looking.
While Chris does that, can I have a question? Can
Sure.
any of this be changed in the future after I go in? Maybe I put in Chris Ferguson, Keller Williams Realty.
Yep.
I want to go back and change it to Realtor.
Yeah, so I used to be Joe McHugh Real Estate Associates, right? I can't be associates anymore, and I can't be a team anymore because it's just me per Connecticut law. So I changed that to Joe McHugh Realtor. I forget what it was. Joe McHugh Realtor powered at KW is what I ended up putting on there to be more compliant, or at least I think I'm in compliance with state law as far as that's concerned. So yeah, you do have the ability to do that. Then if you do change and you grow a team and you become, Chris Ferguson, the Chris Ferguson team, you have the ability to go in without having to start all over again. So you got a lot of fun stuff on here. So here's Chris's thing. Do we want to go to the back end? So business dot, there we go.
Okay, so this is the profile manager.
Now,
So-
once you've set up, this is kind of where you're going to live and where you're going to work on things.
Mhm.
Now, again, this is not, I don't think you're going to be getting a ton of SEO from this, right? If somebody's looking for Ridgefield homes with pools, they're not going to be finding your profile over other people's profiles, right? However, if you're at an open house and you talk to somebody and you say, oh yeah, I've worked in Fairfield County for the past 10 years, and they Google you. So they Google Chris DiBiase, real estate agent, right? Chris DiBiase, realtor. Then he will show up. So, and as you see right here, he shows up on the far left, or sorry, far right.
Yeah, so if you go into Google and someone just Googles my name and they click on it, this is what they're going to see. They're not actually going to see this because this is showing where I can manage my profile.
Yep.
But they're going to see all of this stuff, and this is your Google business profile here. So that's what the consumer would be seeing. Once you have your own profile page set up, you can do the same thing and manage it right from here, or you can go to the Google Business Profile Manager, which is a little more in depth.
Yep. Now, a couple things. First thing I want to touch up on is you look on the left side of the screen, there's a lot there. We're not going to be talking about everything that's on there. A couple of things that are useful. Putting products in there. You could put your listings there if you want, right? So when people look for you, they see what listings you have. I created a product recently that was a search result for like Ridgefield Homes. And that's a product I have in there, and it just brings them to my website for a search for Ridgefield Homes, right? So you have options on what to do product-wise. You can also put services. So you can do home evaluation. You could create a product that is free home evaluation, and then it'll show up on your product page as well. Again, we can use that. So there are products and services that you can do both. Services are just a list of things that are really things you do, versus products are very specific and generally point to a website or a place with that product. So in Chris's case, and I don't know if you want to click on products on this screen, Chris, to show how that is. On this thing, he has these products. So it looks like he created some templates, postcards at some point, and he used those, or videos he created. I love that, with those listings he currently has on the market. You could also go and create a product that's just home evaluation or home sale, and have that in there, and then point it to some kind of lead capture for that, right? So if Chris is on actually the Google page and clicks on one of these, I'm assuming it goes to a page for that. So if you click on one of those products, where would it take us? So it brings us here, and then learn more will ultimately bring to wherever he's pointed it. So it could be for any of those listings he has. It could be for a home evaluation page, right? We're just using this so when people search for us, they show that we're valid in the business. Now, above that on the left, it does say reviews. And to Dee's point, reviews are really important. Now, if you don't have any reviews, this might get frustrating for you, because you're like, this is empty. There's nothing here. How do I get these reviews? Well, to do that, we actually click on the home button on the left. And if you scroll down far enough, there is a button that says share review form. Now, mine is actually in a different spot. So just look on this screen and look for this. This is what you need to send to your clients. So when should we be sending it to them? We could send them to them when we're in transactions with them. Oftentimes, if we've just negotiated things like a really great inspection deal for them, they've just closed, they're super happy. I find the best time to send these reviews is when you've done something stellar for them, and then they have that emotion that you're the best person in the world, and send it then. So I would just take this link and email it to them, right? You could also email them the other ones we talked about at the same time, right? Realtor.com, Zillow, Facebook. My hesitation was Zillow. Zillow is the beast in the room, right? One, people are going to look for you there, so it's good to be valid on that site. But, and I guess it's not, we're doing bold right now, so but is not a word we should be using, but and it requires them to create an account on Zillow, which means Zillow now has their information if they don't already have it. So it's a mixed bag if you want reviews there. With Google, Google is not actively marketing to your clients on real estate. So collecting your reviews here is a great way to do that without them feeding the beast, right? It's a different beast, arguably, and yet it's not a beast that's in direct competition with us. So any thoughts on that, Chris?
Yeah, so I've been posting specifically reviews on Google. I decided to make that switch probably about a year or so ago. And that's just now where I direct clients to leave reviews. What I did was have people that left reviews on Zillow before I made this decision.
Yep.
Go and leave that same review there. And I made it super simple for them by copying and pasting their Zillow review into an email, sending that to them and asking with the link to Google and saying, hey, do me a favor, just copy and paste this to this new link. I'm transitioning my business in this direction. Can you please do that for me?
And as we talked about in our last class on Google Forms, if you're collecting some of this feedback and reviews early on, you can take what they wrote in that form, send it to them with this link and say, thank you so much for that feedback. Thank you so much for your kind words. Would you mind putting this in Google review, right? So we can make this process super simple for them. we collect feedback, you know, and then on the question, what could we have done better? We don't include that here. What did we do great? Well, that's your review, right? Because reviews and feedback are different things. We don't want our clients to confuse those. And so we could actually create a stellar way for them to get that here.
And you don't necessarily need to have a closed transaction to post a review here. I mean,
True.
they could talk
Yep.
about an experience they had with you, just about your character, and take it from there and just post that.
Yep. Love that.
Chris, where do you get the, obviously you want to review the good stuff. What do you do for feedback? Do you just send them an email for that? Or do you have a form that you send for feedback?
Yeah. So like we talked about in our previous class, you can create a Google form where you ask any questions you want, right? Where you say,
thanks.
what did I do well? What could I have done better, right? Because we don't want to shy away from the what could I have done better. We just don't want the what can I have done better to show up in our online reviews.
Of course.
Can I add something too?
Yeah, go ahead, Dee.
I've also asked for reviews from people I've worked really closely with. It doesn't have to be just clients.
Yep.
And I've gotten some great reviews from contractors, home inspectors, anybody that you work really closely with who knows what great realtors you are.
It's a great
Yep.
point.
So
If you
add
ever-
those in there. Ask
Yep.
everybody you know who knows you and knows what a great job each of you do.
If you've ever worked with a referral partner, go leave them a fantastic
Referral
review and then
partners, yeah.
ask them to write one for you. So cool. Now you can do posts here. So again, one of the questions I always get is, should I blog? If you're not going to spend a lot of, I don't want to say effort on a blog. If you're not going to be putting a ton of money into a third-party site like a WordPress site or a blogging site, this is a pretty decent alternative where you can write something. Again, it's a little different of a strategy. We're creating validation here, but it is a great place to put that information and then send them to, you can send them to this. Chris had a really great point, which I agree with, about multi-channel marketing. Chris, I don't know if you want to comment on that.
Yeah, so what I do here for my post section is I literally just repurpose anything I put on Facebook or Instagram to Google Business Profile. So I'm just taking the same stuff that's going out on one channel and leaving it on Google.
Yeah.
And it always has a call to action with some kind of button, whether it's learn more and it directs them to the website, or if it's call now. There's always a call to action here.
Yeah. And how are you making this? Is somebody writing this for you? Where are you getting your content?
So I'm having my virtual assistant post these things.
Cool. Yeah. And so if you have any posts you're already doing, a couple of great resources for ideas on this. Even if you don't pay for Homekeeper has a blog with stuff on there. So look at their blog. I would not copy any media because you wouldn't have permission to use those photos, but the content you could repurpose for a quick post, maybe change it a little bit. There's also a great website called Realtor Content Resource. That's different than RPR. It's our Realtor Content Resource. They publish articles all the time that realtors can use, and it's part of NAR, right? You log in with your Nerds ID, and they give you free content to be able to post. So definitely check that out. If you don't know what to be posting on places like this, it's all free content.
That's great.
You guys think that it also helps? Sorry.
No, who's that?
It's Julie.
Hey, Julie.
Twice. I'm on here 2 times. Anyway, do you think this also helps with your ratings?
Ratings in what regards?
As far as like where you rate on, or how close to the top you rate on Google?
Yeah, so that's obviously a much deeper conversation, but it depends, right? So if people are searching for your name, absolutely, right? You're controlling what they see about you. Like other stuff can come up, but you're controlling what they see about you, right? So they see your website, and Google will get smarter about servicing up the information related to this real estate business rather than random content, right? What I don't see this doing, and I don't know if if you've experienced something different, Chris, but what I don't see this happening is, let's say you're trying to rank for, Ridgefield Center Hall Colonials, right? I don't see this helping you getting to that point where people searching for that are going to get there, unless you're regularly like posting YouTube blog posts and paying AdWords for those keywords. That's not going to help you in this regard. This is going to be for you and your name coming to the top.
Yeah. I mean, maybe in the post if I get specific with keywords and writing these and specific with locations, I know what I've heard is reviews. They search in reviews for keywords. So I'm about to start directing anyone that leaves a review to use my full name, Chris DiBiase, helped me buy, helped me sell, Ridgefield, Connecticut. So it's scanning for stuff like that, and that's going to help. I know that much, but as far as the rest of it, I'm not sure.
Cool. Mariana. Oh, you're muted.
Sorry. Based on what you just said about Joe, that we control what other people see, I don't have a business profile yet in Google, but there is a way to erase everything that is right now in Google. Like, for example, I has been in several companies. I still show my past companies. There is a way I can erase that and start from scratch with my business profile.
So that's rough. There are laws that allow you to kind of control that. If you've ever Googled and you see at the bottom, like something was removed, that process is a little bit beyond what I know how to do. It's, for the most part, that stuff doesn't hurt you as long as you really start working with your new information, and the new, more relevant information is gonna rise to the top, right? There is some control over that. I'm not that familiar with how that works. The reality is the internet is kind of a beast, and that is, once these search engines grab onto that information, they have a hard time letting it go, right? And that's just the nature of how these things work. I don't know, Chris, did you have a comment on this, Chris Ferguson? You raised your hand, so.
Yeah, because I moved from Atlanta about a year ago, so I had this all set up and everything was based off of Georgia.
Yeah.
And so I ended up just having to erase everything, because even my Gmail was tied. It was showing that I was selling real estate in Atlanta, even though I was here in Connecticut.
Yep.
So I ended up just deleting everything. It took minutes. It was easy. I don't remember how I did it, but if you go through the steps, you can do it.
Yeah. It gets a little trickier when it's content from something else. So if you have a profile at another company that still exists somewhere, that's harder to get rid of, right? There was an agent, some of you may have heard him talk. He's a trainer, Chad Himes. He's done many trainings for our market centers over the years. Somebody with his name was accused of something not very great. And that came up in every single one of his searches, right? And he had no control over that. The only way he could outdo that was to actually clear that, right? So yeah, so sometimes stuff happens and you have to clean it out, right? And you just have to push it down with new, more relevant stuff. So any other questions?
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
Quick question, kind of going back to the beginning with that whole postcard thing. I had worked on my Google page and the postcard was going to the office. I didn't get it till way late, and I guess that, like you said, expires.
Yep.
Do you know if I have to start from scratch or if there's a way?
If you go here, I don't think we're going to be able to do it, but actually, Chris, just click on edit your address real quick there. We're not going to follow through on this, but I believe if any change you make to here will prompt will prompt that verification again. So try going on there and editing the address. If that doesn't work, you could just Google how to send out another card. It's in here. We can't get it to happen because we haven't done it yet. So, or he's already verified.
All right, thanks.
That's about it. Some of the stuff you're not going to touch on the side, like the part that says website, that's really to build a website. That's really designed for businesses that don't have websites. So I wouldn't create this per se. It's taking the content. Actually, this isn't bad.
I didn't.
Now that I'm looking at it,
It used to be blank.
If you want like a blog somewhere, you can be using this, I guess, in that context.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to see that.
Yeah. So I'm not an expert on this part. It's definitely not like a real estate search site, but if you want a profile website out there that like, instead of paying somebody else to create something, because we already have our search on our KW site, if you want something where you can blog and do stuff right like that, just jump on here and do that. So, yeah.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I don't have anything else. So we'll answer any questions you have. If not, we can end it about 15 minutes early. It's up to everyone here.
I do have another one. Sorry. For I guess Chris or Joe, do you guys use or pay for SEO stuff or pay for ads for this to up your ranking either? Or is it strictly just based off content?
Chris, you want to answer that first, and then I obviously have my answer.
Well, I had my Google business profile set up a while back with HomeSnap. I believe they ran a promotion, so they did it and they managed it for a while.
Yeah.
Right now, it's just me adding stuff to it.
And you get stuff, you get views. I mean, you said you had a couple appointments that came from this past month alone, right?
Our phone calls, yeah.
Yeah.
Like it'll break down how many people called you, visited your website directly from your Google business profile.
And so again, Julie, what we're talking about here is that, you know, when somebody meets Chris, likely those phone calls came from somebody, and there's no way to prove this per se, but likely somebody Googled Chris and said, you know, oh, I met this Chris guy at an open house, or I did this, and they did that, and then they called him through here, and he's tracking those calls. Although you can see that Chris has these photos up here, and people are viewing his photos, so it definitely helps. We're not going to, because of the nature of these, we're not going to be necessarily knowing exactly how this is happening. Now, you know, when you talk about SEO though, blogging and SEO is like a whole thing that we could talk for hours and hours and hours on the best way to do that. And paid search is something completely different. So with anything like that though, especially paid search, you want to have some kind of lead capture. This is not really a great lead capture tool on its own, which is why I call it like the halo effect. Like these are people seeing and that Chris is a valid person, and then calling him because they've now verified that he's awesome, right? And they should do business with him.
Yeah, but isn't there like a profile and budget area where you can like up your, I don't know what it does, but have you guys seen that area where you can increase your daily, I don't know, like area for clicks or something? I'm not, I'm kind of like jumping in with.
Talking about running some kind of ads, which is
it an ad? Okay.
It's gotta be.
All right. And have you guys done that or had any
business
success?
right there, which allows you to do that. So again, you can do things like that and have yourself rise to the top. And I imagine everybody on this call has gotten the phone calls where people are saying, oh, we'll put your name first page on Google, right? How many of us have heard that exact thing come out of the phone for $100 a month or whatever it is? People are generally not just searching for Ridgefield Realtor and finding you. That's not how they're getting you per se. And if they are, you're competing and it's costly to compete at that because that's a very expensive search result. If you are going to be using search results for something that's less expensive, so as an example, Ridgefield Center Hall Colonials with saltwater pools, right? A lot less people are searching for that. So it's going to cost you a lot less to do it. That being said, if that is not the exact content that people see when they search for that, they're going to move on. They don't just want to see your pretty face in those regards. So if you want to compete at a high level for Ridgefield Realtor, expect to pay a lot because Zillow is paying for those same, those same keywords.
Right.
Amy, go ahead. Oh, you're muted.
Sorry about that. So when I tried to set my profile up a while ago, it's recognizing the office address as something that I quote, don't own or manage. So it's tying me to the Stamford office. All of the reviews listed are for various agents throughout the Stamford office. How do I break apart from that and have it recognize the address as my business address?
So you went and you talked to me a little about this. You have a business profile set up.
I started the process of setting it up.
Yep.
I put in as much information as I could put in. I had the code mailed to me. It did take quite a while for it to get to me. It's now expired, I imagine.
Yep.
And I didn't complete it. But
Yep.
when I go on to the business page, it says the location is a duplicate of a location you don't own or manage on Google. Remove your location or request to become the owner or manager of the existing location.
Can you, Chris, can you search for yours? Let's search for hers real quick. I just want to see what happens. What's the business page?
It's Amy Siglampaglia Realtor, but it never was completed. It never was published. So I don't know that you're going to find anything if you search on Google.
I don't see a Google.
You're not going to see the Google one. Because I never was able to put the code through. It didn't
One
work
second.
when they sent it to me. But so I want to go back and complete it, but it's not allowing me to choose the
But
Summer
you want
Street
it to be-
location as,
You want it to be the Sanford address?
yeah.
Okay.
Hold
I'm
on.
assuming there's other agents in the office that have a Google business profile that also have it with that address, right?
I would imagine. There's a lot of us there. I imagine there's,
Yeah,
So
I
that's-
didn't have that problem. That's interesting. I mean, I'm not in the Stanford, I'm in the Ridgefield.
Maybe
but I don't have
I'll-
that problem.
maybe I just need to, oh, I'm glad Alice is running into the same thing. So maybe I just need to delete it and go through that portion of the process again. I can try that.
I would try that.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know how you can reach Google either. I don't think they have people standing by waiting to pick up phones.
No, I'm
So-
sure.
Good luck with that, but I would try deleting it, start from fresh or
So
see
I'm
if
gonna
there's some
Google,
kind of support.
I don't want to take everybody's time with like my little.
No, I mean, this will be useful. Like, so here's the thing. I know it can be done. I'm just trying to think of who, I'm just looking at, I'm just Googling real quick to verify this. Like, I just Googled Jody Boxer, Keller Williams, and I got an entry, and I Googled Dan Layden, Keller Williams, and I got an entry, right? Those are two agents down there. They're
Right.
two distinct things at the same address. So it's possible. I would possibly start over and see what happens. And if you run into that again, because you are allowed to have distinct things in there, maybe just put in the title, put your name, realtor, and not mention Keller Williams at all. Because it might be linking, it might be seeing the Keller Williams and doing that.
I
Try that
actually did
first.
that. I think it's linking through the address, not the name.
Yeah, no,
'Cause
but but the thing is you're fine with this multiple businesses at the same address. Like that is, it allows you to do that. So there's got to be something else that's triggering it. When it asks you, do you mean one of these businesses? You're not picking Keller Williams, right? Remember the process where it said, oh, did you mean one of these? Don't pick Keller Williams, because if you pick Keller Williams down in that list, then you're telling it, oh, I'm part of this business, and we don't want to do that.
Okay.
Now, there might be a chance that it's already kind of figured out your address, and there's no way with your Google account to undo it. So if it doesn't work, just try a fresh Google account, like try a clean one and see what happens there and see if it works.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Awesome. That's all I got. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for being patient with us as we figured out. Chris owes Cal a phone call. Who he abandoned us.
Awesome.
But awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank
Have a great
you.
one.
Thank you.
All right.